Alright, this is for one of the special videos. This is my rant on Marvel's treatment of the Captain Marvel series. Now, the series has been written by a few different writers. One of the most noteworthy. Now, I'm talking stuff with the character. I'm not talking about the previous lines by Peter Day or Chris Claremont or stuff. I'm talking about the original stuff. I'm talking about the stuff that's come out featuring the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, not the other ones. Those have nothing to do with what I talk about here. My problem with the Captain Marvel series is how Marvel treats the series. Where that the series was started back in 2012 with Kelly Sue Homnick as the writer and Dexter Soy as the artist. The artwork was great under him. And then for some mysterious reason, the artwork changed. For some unknown reason, he was removed as the artist, and the artwork went completely downhill. Yes. A lot of people agree with me on this. Once he left, it's like Marvel chose one of the worst artists in the industry to artwork this book. And some people claim that volume ended because of low sales. That volume ended. No one wanted to buy the book because the artwork was just so bad. Really bad. Like atrociously bad. And then, of course, they relaunched the following year, a few months later, where the artwork got much better. My God. You can actually put good artists on a book like this. Where it lasted for 15 issues. Now, unlike the previous volume where it didn't do with crossovers until over a year into the book, where at first they had a crossover with the End for a couple issues. Then it had a crossover with Infinity, which was still crossover Avengers Assemble. And then they had a standalone issue and that's it. Yep. And I wanted to see it continue. Yes. I seriously was. And the series did come back. They kept Kurosawa on as the writer. And they had David Lopez as the artist. Great. No problem. Now, it didn't evolve to having tie-ins to crossovers until issue 14 for one issue. And that was for Black Vortex. Yep. Now, the Black Vortex tie-in was actually really good. Now, in the case of Ending Within, the reason why that crossover happened was because it was a build-up of stuff that was happening in the Captain Marvel book at that point. So, that crossover made perfect sense to happen. It's not the same artwork when it comes to that series. Oh, yeah. The artwork is... That crossover is atrociously bad. It's like what the heck was Marvel thinking when it came to, I heard some people compared it, I remember watching a review of it, and some people compared it to being Rob Liefeld bad. Yeah, where, Captain America was drawn to be so freaking beefy. Worse than he normally is drawn. So, I'm like, really? Why the heck would you do that for? Excuse me. Yeah. Now, the writer herself has since left. The original writer has since left. The one who's been writing the character the past few years. Shoot. Just a second. Sorry about that. I had to blow my nose. My nose was really bothering me. Yep. The writer of the series, Kelly Sue, who is married action, by the way, in case I'm wondering. Now, she's known for books like she wrote the Shift One Shot, the Rescue. I'm looking up her work on Wikipedia. Probably one of her best works outside of Captain Marvel. For Marvel Comics. Well, she did write a few issues of the Avenging Spider-Man series, but probably one of her best works is the Osborn series, which she does with Becky Cohen, the writer who does Punisher right now. Yeah, this series was just pure awesomeness at its finest. Yeah, this was just a 5-issue limited series, and I believe this miniseries won an Eisner Award. Yes. So she won an Eisner Award for this series and Pretty Deadly. One of the two doing now. Yeah. Now she was also writing Avengers. She took over the writing Avengers Assemble right after Brian Michael Bendis left, and the series was still good, despite Bendis leaving. The series was still good, and it had a crossover with Captain Marvel, sort of unexpected, but it was great. But the thing is, I think the reason why that she stopped writing Captain Marvel, why that this miniseries was the last thing she was doing with it. My theory was this: she was kind of getting fed up with Marvel's book of how much Marvel was treating her. So that's the reason why she left. Yeah, so that's why she left. And probably also she didn't like it that the first series that she did for Captain Marvel was ended issue 17, and she probably didn't like it also that the original artist left. I don't know why. This is just me theorizing why she stopped doing it. But honestly, and then you hand it off, and then for some mysterious reason, now Secret Wars was the reason why that previous volume ended, which is why a lot of the other books that ended last year were ended because of Secret Wars. Stuff was abruptly halted because of Secret Wars. And there were some things for the Captain Marvel series that Kelly Sue Harnick did do that I thought was really good, like introducing a mini sidekick in a way in the form of Lieutenant Trouble. I thought she was a pretty adorable little character, someone who's kind of a fan of Captain Marvel in a way, but not as big one as Kamala Khan. She was more like an apprentice of Captain Marvel. That's simply how I would put it. And she had a lot of adventures on Earth. A few times she went to space. And she, for some reason, had an apartment inside the head of the Statue of Liberty for some reason. Yeah, somehow that was a good idea to do. And then when the book ended, it kind of ended kind of on a happy note in a way. But then when the series came back, it got a little bit better for some people. Some people thought the writing by Kelly Sue Harnick was not as good as the previous volume. I thought it was still good. That's just my honest opinion about it. I thought she was still, didn't miss a beat when it came to the relaunch of the book. Now, there was a few things that was completely unexplained. Now, they did allow Carol to keep her cat. Yes, Chewie. They allowed her to keep her cat that she got in the previous series. Yeah, Kelly was allowed her to keep that cat, but as for the other stuff that she did during the previous series, she wasn't allowed to keep, like Lieutenant Trouble, which for some reason she wasn't allowed to have as a supporting character in the series, so she decided to create a new supporting character in the form of Tick, a green-skinned alien that she met early on and stayed a part of her crew. Now, there are some things about the book that has, by the time this book is ended, they did not explain. Like, when in the world did Rhodey and Carol get into a relationship? This is something that for a lot of people, they're not against this relationship. They're like, when the heck did this come from? Now, I have nothing against Kelly Sue Harnick for putting these two in a relationship. Because if you look at Rhodey, the guy has never really much had a relationship ever in this whole entire... He's had maybe relationships here and there, but nothing as serious as with Carol Danvers. And I I supported the relationship. It was great. It was a good idea to do. It just came completely out of nowhere. That was the problem with it. It just came out of nowhere, but it wasn't forced. I mean, at least implied that they were dating for a while. It wasn't like with Batgirl, where the relationship started just because in the Batgirl title, yeah, there was a relationship forced on people. Not as bad as what happened. Batgirl was worse than this, where the relationship between Luke Fox and Barbara Gordon was forced. Yeah, it was heavily forced. In the case of the one between, War Machine, at the time he was Iron Patriot at that point. But when he became Carol's boyfriend, it was an interesting move for the part of Carol Suhanik. Here's the problem with the character of Rhodey. After his ongoing series ended, his very brief one, mind you, the guy was barely featured in the comic books. And after that one issue, the guy disappeared for almost an entire year before showing up in issue 10. Though there was a hallucination of him before that. But yeah, it was like, what? What the heck happened to this character? This really good character. I mean, I would have liked it if I think maybe Kelly Suhanik might agree or disagree with this, but I think that she probably had planned to have the relationship sort of develop, and would have done more with it if the fact that the book had not been abruptly canceled at issue 15. Now, in the case of the previous volume, it was low sales. This one was an absolute stupid reason. Secret Wars. And I'm sure you're like, I give up. I'm going to do this mini-series that you want me to do. Fine. But I'm fed up with this. So, I think that after she finished that mini-series, since that mini-series has concluded, she has never done any work for Marvel since then. And I really miss her work for Marvel. And yes, she has. I know about her work for the issues that she did for Supergirl. I've read them. They're really good. And they're better than the previous issues by the previous writer. I have nothing against Nick Spencer, who co-wrote the first 2 issues of the previous story arc. But she was good. And my guess is she was receiving some mistreatment at Marvel. I don't know what happened. But something must have happened that caused her to quit working for Marvel. And that's why she's just doing the 2 series doing for Image. Which is B Planet. I'm not going to say the full word. You can look it up. And Pretty Deadly. 2 really good series. I highly recommend them. As for the series itself, under the current... Now, there are some things that, since she's left, there are some characters that mysteriously disappeared. Or things that disappeared. For instance, the supporting character Tick has been mysteriously dropped from Marvel Universe. Same thing with Lieutenant Trouble. I mean, aside from appearing in 2 issues of this volume, Lieutenant Trouble has not appeared since then. It's like she's completely forgotten about. Though, at the end of issue 17, she did help up Camilla Khan, which I'm kind of happy she did that. But, and also, her cat has mysteriously disappeared. Yeah, there is no explanation of what happened to her cat. As far as I can tell, at the end of this volume, she still had her cat. But at the start of the current volume, her cat has mysteriously disappeared. And the fact that she has taken up leadership of the Alpha Flight program. Okay, fine. There are still some things that still have not been explained when it comes to this. First of which, what the heck happened to her spaceship that she had from the previous volume? That has mysteriously disappeared. Lieutenant Trouble has disappeared. Tick has disappeared. The cat has disappeared. Okay, they have not explained what the heck happened to those things. One of the other really big things that the current creative team, even the previous one, has not explained this. When the heck did the Alpha Flight program start? Did it start with that flashback, that time travel thing that Black Panther did? Like, like, when was the Alpha Flight space station built? When did those people arrive there? When was she put in charge of this program? Stuff like that. The only thing that really has been explained that Captain Marvel has been up to is how the Ultimates have started. Thank you, Al Irwin, for finally explaining that. Though he did 8 issues in, but I think he wanted to get the series off the ground first, then explain it. Okay, now the thing is, the original creative team of this current volume has been removed just so they can take a break for the Civil War II tie-in. Okay, fine. Now, Chris and Ruth Gage have done a fantastic job with the series, and the artwork is still good. There is still one lingering problem. And I don't know why no one has asked this yet, but, like, can we please get an origin story of this Alpha Flight program? Please? At some point, somebody better explain this, because this comes completely out of nowhere. And basically, the creative team just did deja vu in the previous line where Carol is basically leaving Rhodey to show she's going into space, though she's in space for 2 years. Though the only difference is she's not, like, going throughout the galaxy like she did in the previous volume. This time she's in Earth's orbit, so she can at least go back to Earth anytime she feels like it, which is great. I do like that. Plus, I also love the fact that they actually have 3 people from the actual Alpha Flight as part of the actual book as supporting characters. Namely, Sasquatch, Puck, and Amora. And they actually explain stuff about the characters in the course of the book, developing the characters, which I think is great. The problem is, since the original creative team left, they have not developed these characters at all. Ruth and Chris Gage are so heavily focused on Civil War II that we don't get any character moments. That's one of the big problems with the current creative team right now. I mean, it's so heavily focused on Civil War II that we don't get any time to develop the actual supporting characters right in the book. Heck, one of the most surprising additions to this group of people supposed to be representing all the nations to support the FLA program, apparently the representative for the United States is Marvel's biggest douchebag, Henry Peter Geyrick. Which, I'm thinking, though, out of all people to be the U.S. representative, why the heck did it have to be him? Especially since this guy has a humongous history with Carol Danvers. Okay, now as for the Canadian representative, who actually most of the time does agree with Carol Danvers' decisions, whenever it do make sense. I do appreciate the writers actually making the character likable. I think it's Madison Jeffries who's the Canadian representative, which, okay, fine. Someone who actually is from the Alpha Flight comic. Okay, fine. I keep thinking, though, with this program there and the Alpha Flight team still there, can we get an Alpha Flight book? Maybe that can explain what the heck, like, what the whole purpose of this program is. Like, explaining the whole purpose of the Alpha Flight program. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why this can't happen when it comes to this. But, and now for some mysterious reason, with the original team coming back to the book, because according to Axel Alonso said they're going to take a break for Civil War II and they're going to come back. Fine. I'm quite happy with that because they're doing a great job with the series. Here's the problem. The book, once again, is being relaunched. Kind of like with the last time it was relaunched, really no explanation of why. Because if you have seen the Marvel Now 2.0 lineup, it's listed as one of those new series that are getting new number ones. Which, I keep thinking though, Captain Marvel does not need to be relaunched again. You just relaunched this book just last year. It's completely unnecessary. And that's one of the biggest problems with the Captain Marvel book. Marvel barely gets this book a chance to last. Like, it seems like once it gets back past a year, it's only a certain amount of time before the book gets relaunched number one. Come on, Marvel. The book has published 41 issues in the past 4 years. And that's not on a consistent basis, that's overall. and at least 32 of those issues were written by Kelly Sue, a good writer. The current volume is 9 issues in. That's why it's 41 right now. Would Marvel ever acknowledge that it's 41 issues of Carol Danvers? No. The only time they ever acknowledge, for numbering wise, is how many solo issues Carol Danvers has had. Yeah, that's the only thing they'll acknowledge. Because Marvel is afraid of the issue number 50. They are afraid of this number. They have been for the past few years. But that's a totally different rant altogether. But come on, Marvel. Stop relaunching this book to number 1. It does not need it. At all. I mean, the book is doing fine. I mean, it's doing reasonably well. I've heard a bunch of praise for Captain Marvel. A bunch of praise for the past 2 volumes. A lot more praise than 2 volumes before, where people were crapping on the book because it had terrible artwork. But come on, Marvel. Stop relaunching this book. It's completely unnecessary. Just keep the book going. Like, have a part of the series that are actually still continuing. It's like, once you get past issue 12, it's like, oh, it's only like, let's just last it for a few more issues for relaunching number 1. Like, the first one was 17 issues. The previous one was 15 issues, and this volume is only 9. Can we please have a Captain Marvel volume that lasts for 20 issues? Why is this so hard? Because last time I checked, the last time that there was a Captain Marvel series that was ongoing, it did last more than 15 issues. The only series ongoing that actually was canceled low sales quickly was the first of the 3 volumes that featured Genville as Captain Marvel. And that book lasted for 6 issues. But here's the thing. The book that came afterwards, 35 issues. And when it was relaunched, do you know how long it lasted for? You really want to know? 25. Are you afraid of this book reaching 2 years? Why? Why are you afraid of this book doing that? I mean, yeah, I'm glad the fact you're treating the movie property version correctly, but can you please give the actual book a lot more respect? Okay? So, that's all I want to say on that. Please feel free to, anybody who watches this video, if you want to do a video response to this of how Marvel treats the Captain Marvel title, please go ahead and do it. You can also comment below if you agree, disagree with me with the stuff I've said in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Okay? But until then, see you there. See you next time. Bye.